This is Las Vegas Real Estate Now with local real estate expert Harvey Blankfeld.
Where we want to educate you about our market, empower you to make wise decisions, and help you engage with our expert contributors. If somebody's out there and they're saying, "Gee, I have this idea that I want to build my perfect home,"
right?
And they want to do that, what's the first step? What's the first thing they should do, Ernie?
Well, I love my architects, and but I like to say that I prefer them to call me first and let me help them pick an architect. I'll give them a couple options, and
Good.
We'll introduce them to 2 or 3 architects, and sometimes we match them up with the first one, and they love that guy, and they just keep working with them, from the first meeting to the 7th meeting.
Right, exactly. So, and I know we've touched on this before, Ernie, but how long does it take from the time I think about having a custom home, say, you know what, I'm going to build a custom home. How long does it take to actually complete it? I mean, from start to finish. I mean, I know there's no standard on that, but what's the roughly? What are we talking about?
I like to say the bigger the house, usually the longer it takes.
Sure.
But then you want to buy the lot. You could buy a lot if you see one. You can get through escrow and close it in a month, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And then I like to say, depending on how fast you are working with the architect and myself, is drawing up the plans. That could be a couple week process to a couple months, and then 3 or 4 months for permit. So let's say 5 to 6 months to draw a house and get it permitted, and let's say a 4,000 square foot house, 8 months to build it.
Okay. So roughly a year from after you acquire the lot.
Yeah.
Roughly a year.
After you break ground, I like to say there's 2 kinds of customers. There's we've built houses for people that live in Chicago, and they hardly ever, they see the house live maybe 2 or 3 times.
Right.
But we, of course, with today's modern age stuff, we used to send them Polaroids, believe it or not.
Is that right? Wow.
But in the old days, but that's how old I am. But now we send them all kinds of pictures. And then there's the kind of customer that comes out and drinks a cup of coffee at the curb almost every morning.
Every morning,
yeah.
Right. That was me.
Yeah.
That was me, Ernie.
I used to see you across the street.
Yeah, I was right there. I was there every morning. I know there's some people out there listening who are thinking, gee, I didn't know what it took to build a custom. I mean, they're honestly in the dark on that thing. Just like there's a lot of people out there who don't know what it takes just to buy a home. Just as simple as buying a home. But building a custom home is a much bigger commitment.
Oh, you bet. Yes. We like to get into the design phase, and we know whether or not a person is really wanting to go forward. And then we'd like them to make a commitment. And by that time, they like us, we like them, and they like the architect, and they got a piece of property, and there's no stopping us,
Yeah, I mean, you're going to see a lot of each other for the most part during that process, during that year. There's going to be a lot of contact. Even if you're in Chicago, you're going to be talking a lot, I'm sure. There's a lot of conversations going on throughout that process of building a home. And like you said, there's fewer and fewer lots, though. It's getting a little tighter out there, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, if depending on the size of the house you want to build, to build a 3,500 square foot home, lots are scarce for individuals,
Right.
There's some out there in the Northwest, but,
Right.
companies like D.R. Horton are going out there and buying them, and they're building that product. So if you want a custom home builder to build something for you, there's a few lots available.
Right.
This is Las Vegas Real Estate Now with local real estate expert Harvey Blankfeld. Thanks for listening, and remember to tune in every Tuesday at 9 a.m. right here on AM 720 KDWN.